types of topics, including family, relationships, and life experiences and values. And let me just shortly introduce the background of our interviewees. We have 17 interviewees from 7 cultural backgrounds and 15 different countries. And it's quite equal because we interviewed 9 Westerner and 8 Eastern. And the male is 58.8% and the female is 41.2%. And these are their majors in SEC, and up to 11 persons studies Chinese in Taiwan, and 2 study business administration and other kinds of studies. So these are their cultural learn, and we up to 40% of our interviewees are native English speakers, and the British consists of not only the United Kingdom but also Australia and New Zealand. So where we did our interview, we did most of our interview at the international building, the 3rd floor of the international building, and we buy some drinks for them, so they introduced a lot of their friends for us. So at first we interviewed an Italian, and she introduced 8 of her friends, and the friends introduced more friends. So we interviewed 17 people. Yes. And now is the different analysis for each question. And Henry first.
Okay. And our first topic is about questions about family. And our first question is, please use any 3 words to describe the relationship between you and your family. And as you can see from the word cloud, most people mention love when they think of their family. And there are some interesting answers like friendly, communicative, touchy, or messy. And our second question is, will you inform your parents if you're in a relationship? Is it common to do so in your country? And 71% of interviewees answered yes. And most of people will inform their parents if it is a serious relationship. And our third question is, would you express your love for your family members by saying I love you, giving a kiss or a hug? And there are 8 Westerners say yes and 1 say no. And this indicates that Westerners are more willing to express their emotion to their family members. And there are also 3 Easterners that only say I love you for their family members. And I think that's also a good way to express their love to their family members. And the 4th question is, what is your parents' methodology of raising you and your siblings? Is their parenting style very common in your culture? And to exclude the divorced family in Easterner family. The percentage of both Westerners and Easterners are very much the same. And the old parenting style in both areas are authoritative and is converting to democratic style in new generations.
To deal with conflicts or disagreements. And the blue part is stop talking to each other, and the red part is argue. So you can see from the bar chart that most Westerners don't talk to each other for a while. Most Easterners tend to directly talk about their problems, which results in arguing. And we even have one interview said that he doesn't have much disagreement with his family. So the 6th question is, does your family have high expectations or put pressure on your grades or future career success? If yes, which job does your family want you to do? And we can see that the blue part is the interviewees who said yes. And we can see that most of people can decide what they want to do in the future. But the portion is slightly different. Well, more Westerners say that they can decide for themselves. And for those whose parents want them have expectations in them, their parents want them to be lawyers, software developers, or jobs with higher salaries. And the next question, when you have a lot on your mind, would you talk about it with your family? Or do you often feel it's awkward to share your feelings or thoughts with them? And we can see that half of them say that they will talk to their siblings rather than their parents. And we ask them about the reason, and many say that they choose to talk with siblings because of their generation gap with their parents. We can see a quarter of them choose not to talk to neither parents or siblings. And the eighth questions. Would the seniors in your family have more power and higher status? Or would every family member be equal no matter their ages? And we can see from the two pie charts that most people think that seniority matters and seniors should earn more respect. But the portion is, again, slightly different. And the ninth question. In your culture, when one reaches adulthood, do the parents expect them to move out or continue living with them? And surprisingly, we have 40% of people answer that the parents wish them to live together. And the other one is move out and the parents don't mind have the same portion. So next we'll have some questions about love.
Alright, so now the question will be about love. And the 10th question is, in your country, at what age do people usually start a relationship? And I think for this question, the universal answer is like 15 to 17. As you can see, that 15 and 16 over here is the highest answering rate. So I think this question is like no doubt between countries. Like it's 15 and 16 is the greatest age to start a relationship. And the next question is, do your parents expect you to get married at a certain age? And for this question, no expectation have a higher percentage, but I think before like this age, 25 to 28, I think it's a great age because in this age, people like they have reached some kind of stability in their work and financial status, and also they are becoming a mature people. So I think it's a great age to start a marriage. And there's also a fun fact about this chart because we found that there are people from Middle East and like for example Turkey and India, they categorize this question into a gender question because they think that women in their country will have a like younger age to get married, and for men in their country, then they will have a older age to get married. So it's quite interesting. And for the question number 12, is marriage a matter of two couples or both family? And we found that there's three kind of answer. The first one is couples only, and the second one is family, and the third one will be personal first, which means that couple will discuss first, and after they make their decision, they will have to discuss this with their family eventually. And these are the percentage of these three answers. And the question number 13 will be, when falling in love, what would people do to surprise their love? And for this question, we got three kind of answer again. But the first one will be actively express, which means that they will tell their other half, maybe not other half, their potential lover, that they would like to take them out and have a dinner and go to a cinema or something else. And we put this into actively express because they show their interest into another person. And the other one would be just be themselves because in their opinion, they think that if it is meant to be and it will happen. So they do not need to there's no need for them to beg the potential person. And the third answer will be find common ground. And I think this is quite similar to actively expressed because they just find their same interest and then do plan their whole day and do that same interest. And question number 14 will be, what do one usually do when dating? And this is the following question of number 13. And for usual activity, there will be a dinner, cinema, go hiking, and beach, coffee place, park, sightseeing, which is a normal thing that we would possibly do in Taiwan. And for unusual activity, we'll be booking a hotel. And this answer is from India, so I'm quite surprised because, as we all know, India is like a relatively conservative country. And booking a hotel which means that they will like to have a one-night stand. And the second answer for unusual activity is go to one's place and watch Netflix.
Okay, so the fifth question is the person's salary, social status, or background matter in a relationship in your country. So most people say don't care, and some people say they care because it depends on what kind of relationship it is. If it is stable, like you're going to marry that person, and his or her salary, social status, or background will matter in this relationship, just like how we think in Taiwan. And next question is, when do you think it's fine for one to have sex for the first time in your country or culture? And for Westerns, they say whenever you know what you're doing, when you want to, when you know what is right and what is wrong, and even if you're only 16 years old, and that's okay, you can do it. But for Easterns, we are all conservative. Maybe our parents will say you can do sex whenever you reach 18 or even when you're getting married. So this is the difference between Westerns and Easterns. And the next question is it common in your country to have one-night stand? One-night stand means, that you maybe just go to a bar and kiss a person and then you do sex with them, and in the morning you get up and you go away and never communicate. Okay, so for Easterns, most people say no. Like in Asian and Indian culture zone, they say no, they never do this. But for most of Westerns, they say yes. Like the Italian interviewees, she just directly said, yes, I have. Yeah, she just told me that. So they are open to in their attitude towards sex. The next question is, which one do you value more, your friends, lovers, or family members? Most people answer family is the most important, but some say it depends, because sometimes friends are family and lovers are family. So if the lover is stable, then she or he is your family too. So sometimes friends and lovers are as important as your family.
And we also asked some questions about life experience and values. So for the question, we asked, if you had the chance to migrate to another country, which country would you prefer? The answer including Belgium, UK, Sweden, Norway, USA, Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, New Zealand, and Australia. And we can discover that many European countries are many foreigners' top choices. And for the reason why they choose this country, the determinants is the country's culture and also the quality of life in that country, and people live in that country tolerance and respect for different cultures. Also, for some native English speaking is important for them, and for some interviewees, they said same-sex marriage is very important to him. Also, we asked that, do you like purchasing in convenience stores in Taiwan? And what do you think about the high density of convenience stores in Taiwan? For most
For most foreigners, they like the convenience store in Taiwan very much. Only one person said that they don't like convenience stores. For people who like it, they think that it opens 24 hours and located everywhere. Also, it provides multiple services, including buying yo-yo card or a pickup package you buy online. Also, it sells things in affordable prices. But for people who don't like it, he thinks that it encourages people to buy things without thinking about it. Also, it sells things in a little bit expensive. Also, we asked that why did you choose to study in Taiwan? For most interviewees, they said the scholarship because Taiwan provides scholarship for him. And also, he comes to Taiwan because he wants to learn Chinese and experience Asian culture. Also, they heard that Taiwanese people treat foreigners friendly, and the nice diplomatic relation between Taiwan and his country is very important because you will be in a totally foreign country, and if you have some accident, the nice diplomatic relation matters. If we keep asking that if the purpose is learning Mandarin, why did you choose Taiwan instead of China? Most of the foreigners say that because Taiwan has more freedom and it is a more open society. And one of the Honduras girls said that they prefer Chinese traditional characters, 繁体字, rather than simplified characters that China and Hong Kong use. And also, we know that the diplomatic relation between Australia and China is not quite well. So some Australian students say that there are a few cases that Australians disappear in China. So the safety problem also matters. For the last question, we asked them, are you satisfied with Taiwan academic prevention measures? Up to 64% interviewees said that they satisfied with the prevention measures. The reason is they think Taiwanese people respect the government and follow the rules. So Taiwan previously can control the disease. Also, the high injection rate is very important to control the disease. But there are 35% foreigners say they are not satisfied with these prevention measures. The reason is they think it is too strict, and they wish the government to open the border so that they can come back their home and back to Taiwan more easily. For the third reason, they think that people's freedom is important, so they think it is not right to restrict people's freedom just to control the disease.
So I would talk about the conclusion. We arranged seven points about the interviews we did, and there are interesting things. The first one is Westerners are generally more liberal than Easterners, and most of the families no longer put strong pressure on their kids, and it's quite different from the education we now get in Taiwan. And most of the people start their relationship at the age of 15 to 16. And up to 76.6 people think that the social status or background of their lover doesn't matter in a relationship. Because we know that in traditional Chinese society, people like to marry like doctors, professors, and lawyers, or those high social status people. But in this interview, we find that now most of the people don't matter this. And for European and British people, they prefer to have their first sex in a relative younger age, usually 16 years old, which is like the first year in your senior high school. And one-night stand is more common in South American, Pacific, British, and European culture. And the last one is Australia, the United States, the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Taiwan are among the best migrant destinations. And Alex will share with you the reflection.
What we learned during this project is that, like when we asked many foreigners what country they want to migrate, many people say that the people's tolerance of different culture is very important. So many people will ask that compared to another country, which Taiwan has what advantage or strength that we can be better with other countries? I think the answer is we can be more respect and tolerance to different culture. Because when you are a foreigner in a different country, you want to be accepted and you want to be friendly treated by the native people. So I think we can be more respect to different culture and to expect different people. That this is the thing that Taiwanese people can learn. Okay, and special thanks to all the foreigners we interviewed, and they are very nice. Thank you.
Right, so again, can we start with any questions or comments? The first thing. Yes,
I have a question about when do you have your first relationship? Do you have the statistics about Eastern and Western people respectively?
Western people, here's the answer for Western people that they think it's suitable for them to start from 12, but that is only for Western people. And for mostly Asian interviewees, they answer like middle school, senior high school, and these are the common answers.
Yes, and also those people who say 12, 13, 14, they emphasize that it's not a serious relationship. It's just like, oh, I like you, you like me. But you have to reach 20 or 22 is the really serious relationship.
I think I just have a follow-up question. So I think the Western interviewees mentioned that there's a difference between the two verbs. Like there's a difference between you like someone and you love someone. They mention this.
They just say if you're serious to this relationship, that means you want to spend a life with that person. But they say when they are in maybe junior high school, they just like you like that boy or a girl, that they won't even tell their parents about it because they don't really care about it.
One of your questions is about whether the people want to immigrate. And there's one person choose to immigrate to Taiwan. Can you tell us where these people from and what is the reason he choose to immigrate? He wants to immigrate to Taiwan.
He mentioned that the reason is they think that Taiwan is an intersection of multiple cultures, like Japanese culture, because we previously ruled by Japan, and also Aborigine culture, Yuanzhumi culture, and also Chinese culture. They think the multiple culture in Taiwan is the reason why he wants to migrate here.
So where these people come from?
Australia, Eastern Australia.
Good. So any others?
What's your own opinion if you were a child in a relationship in junior high or senior high? And would you change your answer if you have a daughter or have a son?
Could you say your question again?
If your children are in a relationship in junior high or senior high, what's your opinion to that? And will you change your answer if you have a daughter or have a son?
For me, if my daughter or son have a relationship in junior high school, I think it's okay, but they can do something like, you can have sex or something, but if it's healthy relationship, then it's okay. For me, I think it is totally okay for
a junior high or junior student to have relationship, but because if he or she is my child, I will wish that to inform me that they are in a relationship, so that if some dangerous thing happen, I will know if it is happening.
What about Canada? For me, I think when love comes, nothing can stop them. So I will tell him or her to protect their self-will, because for me, my parents asked me not to have a relationship before 25 years old, but I had a relationship when I was 15, but I didn't tell them. But in fact they know, because you know that parents are very 神通广大. They can get any kind of information and they will put it into a puzzle and, oh, you like this guy. And they will try to and oh, this person, and they will try to, like, when they are chatting with you or have a dinner with you, and they will keep talking about this person, and you will be a little bit embarrassed or something, and they will say, oh, I see. Yeah. And so, no restrictions. As long as my kids won't let me be a grandpa too fast. Okay.
I want to ask, you have mentioned that Western culture is, one night stand is quite usual in Western culture. I want to ask, what is your opinion about one night stand? Because we notice Taiwan culture is quite conservative in the sexual issues, so...
Our opinion?
Yeah.
For myself, I can't, but can you?
I think it's great. I would love to have.
Henry.
Everybody has their desire and his or her desire, but I
don't. For me, I think it's fine, because if you don't want to maintain a strong relationship with the girl or boy, but you still want to have sex with them, so you can just spend a one night.
Yeah.
Like, be a one night boyfriend or one night girlfriend, and as long as you did the protection good, and everything will be fine. Or one hotel can open 1 and 1 in Taiwan. So one night stand is an under table issue in Taiwan. It's actually very active, but Taiwanese don't say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a matter of demand and supply. Yeah, so it's quite great for me.
So if your boyfriend or girlfriend told you that he or she used to have a one night stand with others, is it acceptable, or you will feel it is very disgusting?
Wait, I can answer you this question. No. I'm just going to recommend you a video from Dcard, because there is a recent video on Dcard like a few days ago. It's talking about this question: is that yeah. Does it matter? 就是他会问精神出轨跟肉体出轨。Yeah, I recommend you to watch that video. And I think for 60 or 70% in the video from the video of Dcard saying that they cannot bear the 肉体出轨, and for 精神出轨it is acceptable.
I can share with you an interesting phenomenon, because most of the Chinese people think if you enter a top universities like NTU or Taiping Jiaocheng, then you will be a good student. But one of my friends who is studying in the medicine college in NTU, he had already, only one semester, he had already had 5 times one night stand. So, but he still came back to our high school to share some studies things with those high school students. So I think that it's definitely fine, as long as Because like Taiwan's new baby is too perfect. The mouth is too small, so they can protect themselves well. But if they didn't protect well, that is also a good thing for Taiwan. So there is no disadvantages, right? Yeah, great.
Yeah, so thank you for being so candid on the answers. I just want to know, so I mean, some of the questions are very sensitive, right? So when you pose the question to the interviewees, were some of the interviewees surprised by the questions?
Only a Malaysian student from business administration. He said, wow, you're different from other teams. You're more, yeah.
Too open.
Too open, yeah.
Westerners think that this question is just a simple question because they experience it every day.
Yeah, we usually inform that before the interview that if you think the question is a little bit sensitive or offensive, you can reject to answer it. But every interviewees, they didn't skip the question about sex or romance, and they are they answer the question very normally. They don't think there's a something. Yeah.
Very good. So can we return to question number 13? So yeah, I think I have just a question about the word here. Is it to surprise, the mean to express?
Actually, the original question is to woo the boy or girl, or to win his or her heart.
Oh.
That's what we mean.
Oh, okay. That's good. Okay, good. That was my question. Okay, so others? Right, so thank you very much.